Because I sure as hell ain't scared of you.
Tú mismo lo dijiste. Ella es peligrosa. You and me. Only between us. And no one else can know.
We've got competition. You need to make an example of whoever this is.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
You're done. Out of business.
You don't decide, but I'm done.
She ain't gonna bother you no more.
Enemies are dangerous, especially when they're family.
Maybe you thinking you next? You scared, Raq?
Welcome back, Top Notch Gang, and as you can see from the thumbnail and title, we have did it. We have connected all the dots, and I'm gonna lay it all out for you guys in this video, so watch the whole thing because it's all gonna make sense. With the release of the new episode 8 trailer, we're able to piece it all together how the rest of the season is gonna play out for characters like Raq, Ronnie, Kanan, Juliana, and of course Lou. And a lot of shit from the trailers, the drive-by, Kanan getting kidnapped, the Raq killing scene, we're about to be able to tell each and every one of them in this video. So of course we're going to start off with Kanan being kidnapped, because this is basically confirmed that it is Raq, and I'm going to explain that first in the video, and then we're going to move on how that leads to Ronnie sending an attempt, the hitters, the drive-by on Raq in the scene we saw in the trailer. That's definitely Ronnie at this point. I'm gonna point out all the clues and details of why. Of course, I said in my other video a few days ago all the confirmed deaths for the rest of the season that Raq was gonna take out Juliana. Once again, gonna point out all the clues that shows that, and that's definitely gonna happen in episode 8. And ultimately, last but not least, we've been seeing the picture of Lou with the gun to his head. A lot of people, including myself, I said at the beginning of the season it could be Ronnie, then I switched over to Chantel once she got back into the picture and story. But we saw in episode 7 Lou takes out Chantel, so it definitely isn't her, and this scene still hasn't taken place. This leaves Ronnie on the table, and once again we basically got evidence that it's gonna be Ronnie as well, and that Lou is gonna go missing. So once again, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna break down everything within this video, and it's gonna be a good one. Let's get right into it. Now first, like I said, Kanan getting kidnapped. Now I predicted when the first trailer dropped for the season that this was gonna be Raq, and throughout the entire show we seen her do things to try to keep Kanan as close to her as possible, try to get him to take out Howard, his own dad, just so you wouldn't find out. Even within this season we saw her put the gun into his bag so he'd have to come move back home. So she just does this devious ass shit to her son. So I said this could possibly be her setting him up once he get into the streets, and that looks like exactly what it's gonna be. We saw in episode 7 she went back to the people Unique was working with, his operation, and made a deal with them. Now we see in the episode 8 trailer he tells her we have competition on the streets.
We've got competition.
Of course in episode 7 Jukebox told Raq that Kanan of course was working with Ronnie as well, so they're telling her, hey, we have competition, you need to find out who it is and eliminate them. And that's what she's gonna do with the Kanan kidnapping, because we see Marvin yank one of Kanan's couriers off the bike, slam him down, and he's more than likely, being young, being a kid, Marvin, he a big dog, he's gonna get his answers from him and learn that it's Kanan and Ronnie, and I think Raq sets up this whole hit. Now of course this all makes sense because we see in the trailer where he's getting taken, and then we see in the aftermath of that Raq is telling him, you're out of business, you're done.
You're done. Out of business.
And it's because he's her competition. She of course can't kill him, he's her son, so she has to get him to stop. Also, this leads into the scene of Ronnie sending the hitters after Raq. I think it makes perfect sense because you see they're wearing the same exact clothes. When he gets into the car with Ronnie, pretty sure he's going to be complaining about Raq, about what went down, that she took him, everything of the sort, and Ronnie specifically tells him, you're not going to have to worry about Raq anymore.
You don't decide, but I'm done.
She ain't gonna bother you no more.
Basically suggesting he's planning on taking her out. So I think Raq finding out about this competition, Marvin of course slamming the ball on the ground, finding out it's Kanan and Ronnie, will lead to Raq having to make the move against her own son having to get him to try to stop, and that's why he doesn't just straight up get killed, because if he was anybody else in his business and not her son, he would most likely be killed for being the competition. And of course, he doesn't stop. He goes back to Ronnie, and Ronnie is gonna set up the hit against Raq. Now on to Raq killing Juliana. Now I once again mentioned this in my 6 deaths I talked about before the end of the season. You go check that out if you want to see what other characters might possibly die. I already said Chantel, and now Juliana is on the chopping block. Now we of course know Raq and Juliana have been beefing this entire season. Juliana betrayed her, now working with her cousin, and she was kind of like the boss of hers, supplying her the product and everything like that. But Raq, she decided she was gonna leave the game, went up to them, straight told them, "I'm out," and Juliana was like, "Nah, she's dangerous, we gotta watch her." But her cousin, he was like, "Nah, she's good to go, let her go, whatever." But now we know Raq is back in the game, and she doesn't at this point know that Juliana is fronting the supply for Ronnie. But I think once she finds out about the situation with Kanan, she'll gain more and more information. She's gonna eventually find out that it's Juliana fronting Ronnie the work. I actually think it makes sense she gets this information from Vanessa. Of course, we know Vanessa tried to attack Raq in episode 6 because she thought Raq had something to do with Unique disappearing. They had a talk about it. She now realizes it's Ronnie. And when Vanessa in episode 7 went back to her house to get her things, she saw Ronnie in there with Juliana. And she of course knows who she is. She was like, "You the girl from the bodega," shit like that. If Raq and Vanessa stay in contact, this is where she's gonna get that information from, and this is what leads her to go and take out Juliana. Now what I think most likely happens is Vanessa goes back to Raq, because we know in episode 7 Ronnie did follow her to her mom's house, so now she's worried about her safety more than ever, especially because he scared her in episode 6, took all Unique things, shit like that. So she's gonna go back to Raq, and I think that's where she will reveal this information. And she's been had a bullet with Juliana's name on it. Now once again, I pointed this out in a video prior because I saw it as soon as I saw episode 6, when Ronnie went to meet with Juliana, let her know he took out Unique, and she let him in the house. I pointed out how the roof in her ceiling matched perfectly to the trailers of showing Raq pulling a gun. Obviously in the trailers they didn't want to let us know who it was gonna be, so they gave us this angle pointing at Raq showing up, and we saw the ceiling. So when they let Ronnie into the house and they did the wide shot angle showing the ceiling of him and Juliana, I'm like, yup, Raq had a bullet with her name on it, and now she's getting revenge. And this would cause 2 blows to Ronnie now. One with her kidnapping Kanan. She now knows how they're running their business. She might try to stop him, fucking up their money, and now fucking up his supply with taking out Juliana. Now of course, I believe that Joaquin, her cousin, Juliana's cousin, won't do anything about this, for the simple fact that Juliana is doing this whole operation behind his back. When Ronnie came to first get work from her, she told him no one else could know about this, not my cousin, no one.
Only between us. My cousin isn't involved, and no one else can know.
So he's gonna have a problem with her doing this, and possibly might be involved and allow for Raq to do this hit. But one thing we know for sure, she is gone by the end of this next episode. Now, the gun to Lou's head, Ronnie kidnapping Lou. This is the one I'm the most skeptical on, and I'm going to explain why, but still talk about why I believe is going to happen and the evidence of that. First things first, we see in the picture with the gun to Lou's head, he's still wearing the exact same clothes he had on in episode 6 when he was in the studio, when Marvin hacked him up, when he took out Chantel. So a lot of people are assuming that this would take place at the beginning of episode 6, and it could possibly be Marvin or Raq just threatening him, telling him he fucking up too bad and everything like that, which makes sense because once again he's wearing the exact same clothes. Now something interesting we see in the episode 8 trailer is we see him drinking, we see him stumbling, and we see him shooting a gun. Now it looks like he has on a different sweater, hard to tell, it's kind of dark, but it does look like that. So the scene of the gun to his head can possibly take place prior. Another interesting thing we see is Raq bringing him into her house. He's drunk, he's stumbling, and it can't take place here. Obviously Raq Raq is wearing her robe, and we actually see the person with the gun is wearing some dark blue or darkish black, so it's not this scene obviously. And another person they're pointing at is of course Famous, because in the last episode we saw he kept the gun that he used to kill Freddy. Now at this current point in time, Famous doesn't really have no reason to go after Lou unless something happens with the 411 song. We're gonna have to wait and see, but until then my prime suspect is still Ronnie, and I'll explain why. Now I just mentioned how he's about to take 2 blows prior with the Kanan situation, 3 if you count the hit on Raq missing, and also with the death of Juliana, he can't get no work, no product. He has to get some get back, and you know Ronnie is reckless. Now the interesting thing is we see in the description for episode 9, it tells us that Marvin desperately searches for Lou. So Lou is gonna go missing. Something's gonna pop off, something is gonna happen that Marvin is looking for him. Now I think at this point, none of the Thomas family, no matter how much they fall off, they're not at the point where they would kill one another. Even if they were to threaten one another, I don't think they would take the other person out. So I just think it makes the most sense that this is because of Ronnie, because it also says in the description that the feud between Ronnie and Kanan versus Raq is heating up. So I think he has a lot to do with this, and this is just gonna set the stakes higher and higher and higher. The war officially has started, and they're gonna both be making moves, and I think this is gonna be the biggest move Ronnie makes up to this point, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how it plays out. I ultimately think all this just ends in a showdown with this scene right here, where Kanan is gonna have to make a decision between Raq and Ronnie, if he still loves his mom enough, if he chooses her, and I think his decision will be made in the finale, and I honestly think he'll choose Raq. You guys let me know down below, but yeah. Overall, you can let me know all your thoughts and opinions down below. If you think I'm wrong, I know a lot of you gonna say it. Let me know which part. I think I'm for certain that Juliana is dying in episode 8, and that it is Raq who's kidnapping Kanan. It's all adding up, especially after the trailer we got in episode 8. We were able to piece it together with the other trailers. Now, once again, the thing I'm most skeptical on is Ronnie kidnapping Lou. You guys let me know, who do you believe it is holding the gun to Lou's head in this scene? I can't wait to see. As usual though, you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what other characters you want to see a video on. The end of the season is about to be so lit. You guys stick around, but I'm out.